Hi, Maktub, and today I'm going to be reading this book. It's the first in the series of this one. It's called Ghoulfriends Forever. Sorry, there's a sticker. I can never get these off. I don't know why they put stickers on books that are not hardcover and do not easily come off, but it's fine. I will figure out a way. Anyways, I'm going to be reading this. I'm going to read a chapter at a time, obviously by the title, and I just wanted to give a little disclaimer. Not the greatest at reading, so if you want perfect, don't come here. Also, there's a lot of, I've already read the first chapter, there's like Rochelle's, because she's from Paris, well, Scaris, so there's like that in there, I don't know what it says, and also, if I skip names, it's because I don't do good, as I already read the first chapter, and I was calling her pet Rox for a while, but I'm pretty sure it's Rue or Rue. Anyways, so, yes. Just wanted to give that disclaimer, but yeah, I'm gonna go read the first chapter, and I have quite a few of the books, so if you want to hear one of them, like, want me to read it, let me know. Other than that, I'm probably gonna go in order of what I find first. This is the first in the series. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go do that now. Chapter 1. Nestled deep within the lush forest of Oregon, was a small and seemingly average town. Much like any other town in America, it had shops, restaurants, small family homes, and of course, schools. So normal was the appearance of the town that it was actually quite forgettable. Every year, countless travelers passed through without giving it so much as a second thought, utterly unaware that there was anything extraordinary or unique about the place. But of course, had anyone stopped for a closer inspection, it would have become readily apparent that the town of Salem catered to a rather specific clientele, monsters. And while one might think that a town of monsters was terribly intriguing, it wasn't. Salem had long puttered by with a nary in scandal or drama, outside the occasional spat over which cemetery would host the dance of the delightfully dead, a celebration of the happily departed. In fact, so unremarkable was the community that the most exciting thing on the horizon was to start a new semester at Monster High. Bright and early morning, the well-worn wrought iron gates to Monster High creaked open to a fast-approaching blitz of bodies, aimed the throng of Monsters students with a petite gray gargoyle outfitted in the delightful pink linen dress with a scaremas scarf wrapped stylishly around her waist as a belt. Moving carefully through the crowd, the young girl minded her Louis Creighton luggage, I don't know, and her pet griffin, names, Rux maybe, but mostly her own two hands. As gargoyles are crafted of stone, they are burdened with the both extreme heaviness and terribly sharp claws, and the last thing she wanted to do was snag her dress on the first day at a new school. "Pardon-moi, madame," Rochelle Goyle called out in a charming Scarisian accent, as she crested the building's front steps. "I do not wish to impose upon your business, but might you be looking for this?" Rochelle bent down and picked up a raven-hair head with crimson lips and handed it to the imposing headless figure standing next to the main doorway. "Child, thank you. I keep forgetting my head, both figuratively and literally. You see, I was recently struck by lightning, and it's left me with a spot of what the doctor calls muddled mind. But
Not to worry, it won't last forever, Headmistress Bloodgood said, upon remounting her head to her neck. Now then, do I know you? In my current condition, I find it hard to remember faces or names, or if I am to be honest, almost anything. No, madame, you definitely do not know me. I am Rochelle Goyle from Scaris, and I shall be living in the new dormitory on campus. I'm awfully thrilled that our reputation as the premier monster academy has attracted so many international students. You've come from Scaris, have you? However, did you get here? I hope not atop the back of your sweet-faced griffin, Headmistress Bloodgood said while pointing to Rochelle's peppy little pet. Paragraph 11.5 or 11.5 of the Gargoyle Code of Ethics advised against sitting atop furniture, never mind pets. We came via Werewolf Airlines, a most reliable company. The planes even come equipped with reinforced steel seats for those of us made of stone, Rochelle said as she looked down at her slim but weighty figure. Madame, might I bother you for directions to the dormitory? Before Headmistress Bloodgood could respond, however, Rochelle was thrown to the ground by what felt like a wall of water, hard, damp, and extremely cold, as unknown entities instantly covered both Rochelle and Roke in a dense, misty fog. Looking up from the floor, she saw a short, rotund woman with gray hair storming through the crowd like a tsunami, knocking over everything within a 5-foot radius. Miss Tsunami, Headmistress Bloodgood called out to the watery woman, rammed at unsuspecting vampires into a wall. Rammed an unsuspecting vampire into a wall. Upon hearing Headmistress Bloodgood's high-pitched voice, Miss Tsunami turned and stomped back, leaving a path of puddles in her wake. Up close, Rochelle couldn't see but noticed the woman's permanently pruned skin, crisp blue eyes, and unflattering stance, with her legs a foot apart and her hands perched on her shapeless hips. The woman very much reminded Rochelle of a wrestler, albeit a male wrestler. Albeit, I don't know. Yes, ma'am, Miss Tsunami barked in a piercingly loud voice. This young lady is one of our new boarders, so would you mind showing her to the dormitory? Headmistress Bloodgood asked Miss Tsunami before turning back to Rochelle. You are in good hands. Miss Tsunami, I hope that's how you say her name, is the school's new deputy of disaster. Fearing the students might take advantage of her temporary state of absent-mindedness, especially where detentions in the dungeon were concerned. The headmistress had recently brought in Miss Tsunami to handle all disciplinary matters. Non-adult entity, grab your bag and your toy and follow me. Miss Tsunami screeched at Rochelle. Rux is not a toy, but my pet griffin. I do not wish to mislead you or anyone else for that matter. Gargoyles take the truth very seriously. Lesson number 1, when your mouth moves, you are talking. Lesson number 2, when your legs move, you are walking. If you cannot do them simultaneously, then please focus only on the later. Miss Tsunami snapped before turning around and marching through the school's colossal front doors. Upon entering the hollowed halls of Monster High, Rochelle was instantly overwhelmed with a serious case of homesickness. Everything around her looked and felt terribly unfamiliar. She was used to lush fabric-covered walls, ornate gold leaf molding, and enormous crystal chandeliers, but then again, her last school, École de Gargoyle, was housed in a why are there so many, it looks French, château that was once the residence of the Count of Scaris. So, as one might expect, Rochelle was rather shocked by Monster High's modern purple checkered floors, green walls, and pink coffin-shaped lockers, not to mention the elaborately carved headstone just inside the main doors that reminded students it was against school policy to howl, molt fur, bolt limbs, or wake sleeping bats in the hallway. Pardon moi, Miss Tsunami, but are there really bats? As I am sure you know, bats can carry a wide variety of illnesses, Rochelle said. Her short gray legs worked overtime to keep up with the stampeding wet woman. Monster High employs vaccinated bats. Yeah. As in-house exterminators to eat rogue insects and spiders, with certain members of student body bringing live insects for lunch. We consider the bats highly regarded members of the janitorial staff. If you have a problem with that, I suggest you take it up with the headmistress, but I highly suggest confirming her head is properly attached before doing so, Miss Tsunami grumbled as she rammed into an open door and shortly thereafter a slow-moving zombie. The stunned zombie teetered sluggishly back and forth before collapsing to the ground, eliciting sympathetic whimpers from both Rochelle and Rooks. Miss Tsunami, however, I realized as I'm, saying this, reading it, I'm with sound spelling, but I'm 100%. Not 100. I'm 90% sure that it's Rue is her pet's name. Anyways, Miss Tsunami, however, stomped full speed ahead, totally oblivious to the effects of her reckless marching. I do not wish to tell you how to conduct your business, madame, but I must ask, are you aware that you have knocked quite a few monsters to the ground in the short time we have been walking? Rochelle asked, as tactfully as possible. That is known as collateral damage in the school discipline business. Now stop dawdling and pick up the pace. I'm on a schedule here, Miss Tsunami barked. And if you are capable of both walking and listening, you will enjoy a brief tour along the way. If not, then I am merely reminding myself where everything is. On your immediate right, we have the absolutely deranged scientist laboratory, which is not to be confused with the mad and deranged scientist laboratory currently under construction in the catacombs. Isn't that going to be unnecessarily confusing, Rochelle wondered aloud as she glanced into the room filled with Bunsen burners, vials of colorful liquid, plastic safety goggles, white lab coats, and countless peculiar-looking apparatuses? I don't know. I have decided to disregard your question as I do not deem it relevant. I will now continue with my tour. The laboratory is currently being used for mad science class, in which students produce a wide variety of things, such as lotion for the scaly-skinned, antifungal drops for pumpkin heads, fur calming serums for the hairy organic, oil for the robotically inclined, industrial strength mouthwash for the sea monsters, and much more, Miss Tsunami explained, before stopping to shake her body like a dog after a bath, spraying everyone in a 3-foot radius with water. Fortunately, as gargoyles are built to deflect water, both Rochelle and her dress were spared. I love water, and even I think that was super gross. A scaly-skinned sea creature dressed in flip-flops and well-tailored fluorescent pink board shorts muttered while she wiped her face with a fishnet scarf. Well, at least you don't have a fur fro now. A stylish stylishly clawed werewolf moaned, touching her long and luscious mane of now wet auburn hair. Laguna Blue, Claudine Wolf, do not waste your lives standing around in the hallway complaining. Go and complain in private like a smart, ambitious monster you are. Bonjour, Rochelle mumbled quietly, offering a painfully awkward smile to Laguna and Claudine. A Skermes scarf as a belt, that's straight out of the Morgue magazine. Totally creeperific, Claudine complimented her, clearly impressed by Rochelle's chic style. Merci beaucoup. I don't know. The gargoyle called out as she jetted after the fast-moving Miss Tsunami. Next, we have the bell tower just behind, which you will find the courtyard and the creepateria, respectively. To your immediate left, you have the gym and basketball court, study hall, and finally the creepchen, where home ec is taught. Miss Tsunami said rapidly while storming through the cavernous purple and green halls. After banging into a row of pink coffin-shaped lockers, the puddle-prone woman turned down an adjoining corridor and quickly resumed her tour guide duties. Here we have the graveyard, where you can fulfill your physical caution requirement. Also, the graveyard dancing, but sorry, I got lost. Fulfill your physical deduction, I'm gonna say that's what it is, requirement with graveyard dancing, but of course you can also do that by joining the Ultimate Roller Maze team, which practices next door in the maze. Next, we have the dungeon, where detention is held, and finally, the library, where the ghoulish literature and monstory, the history of monsters, are taught. Would it be possible to get a map? Rochelle inquired politely, but Ro perched sweetly on her shoulder, while Ro... While I have a most remarkable brain for remembering things, I'm all rock and pebbles when it comes to directions. Maps are for people who are afraid to get lost, or lost people who are afraid to get found, neither of which applies to you. Plus, for the time being, all you really need to know is where the Vamp Theater is for the start of the term assembly. But I don't know where the Vamp Theater is. Then I suggest you find out. Might you tell me? Absolutely not. We have a schedule to follow, and the Vamp Theater is not on the schedule. Now pick up the pace, Miss Tsunami yammered as she opened the coffin-shaped door into an adjoining wing of the school. After walking down a large and somewhat empty corridor, Miss Tsunami and Rochelle came upon a worn and weathered pink spiral staircase. Pardon moi, madame, but this staircase do not look very sturdy or up to date with the general safety requirements. Paragraph 1.7 of the Gargoyle Code of Ethics clearly states that I must warn others of danger, so I am warning you now. This staircase is a menace. Menace. Okay. Stop worrying. You sound like a soggy sock, Miss Tsunami barked, quickly quieting Rochelle. While lugging her Louis Cretan suitcase up the rose-colored staircase, which groaned mercilessly under her weight, Rochelle felt yet another pang of homesickness. She suddenly missed everything about home, from the Gothic arches to her favorite cathedral, to the smooth yet surly manner in which Skergian spoke. But perhaps most of all, especially while carting her heavy bag, she missed her boyfriend. I feel like you pronounce his name differently. Yeah, I'm going to just say it how it looks. Garrett Durogue? Anyways, he was it's been a while since I've seen the movie. I should watch again, though. He was as handsome as he was romantic, and while they had never sat next to each other on a bench for fear of it collapsing, they shared a great deal more, including a rose bush he had created for her honor. Upon reaching the top of the stairs, Rochelle was met with a welcome of delightful distraction. Before her hung as intricately woven off-white curtains crafted out of thin, silky strands shimmering in the soft light. The material delighted Rochelle's deep-seated love of fashion and fabric. She wondered if she would be able to commission a scarf for her grandmère, as Rochelle was sure she too would marvel in the material. The petite gargoyle's gray fingers, adorned with 2 Gothic fleur de lis ring, hovered a mere inch from the fabric. Oh, how she longed to touch the magnificent materials, but she didn't dare for fear that her claws would snag it, as they had so many fine fabrics in the past. In a flash, Miss Tsunami thrust her own large, wrinkled hands against the delighted, finely woven shroud, ripping it into. Don't know what that says. Rochelle squealed at the sight of the destroyed material. Save your tears, it grows back in seconds, Miss Tsunami barked as she pointed to the cavalry of spiders frantically weaving above her head. 20 quarter-sized black spiders furiously flung their legs about in the arachnid can reproduction, the curtain within moments. And while Rochelle had never been terribly fond of the 8-legged creatures, mostly because they often attempted to take up residency on gargoyles without asking, she was impressed by the group's efficient manner of working. The dormitory was a long and sumptuous corridor with moss-covered walls and colorful stained glass windows. They cast bright squares of lights on the silver snakeskin floor. The soft emerald colors moss grew unevenly across the walls, creating a visibly with peaks and valleys, whispers of it looks like rogue wisps of letting wrapped around small mounds of greenery hinted at regular spider turks. Miss looks like Jack. The school's guidance counselor is currently checking in the border, Miss Tsunami grumbled as she led Rochelle past several doors to a sitting area just off the corridor. Following the rules, non-adult entities, and you won't have any problems with me. I'm a gargoyle. We love rules. As a matter of fact, we often make up new ones just for fun, Rochelle responded sincerely, to which the watery woman promptly nodded her head and stomped off. Alone in the new country with a new language and at a new school, Rochelle had no choice but to summon all the courage she had and confront the situation ahead. And as far as she could tell, there was no better place to start than with Miss Diaz. Is that her name? Anyways, that is the end of this chapter. I'm Aktab, and thanks for listening to me read. I hope you enjoyed.